There is no mention about any king whatsoever that gives the gifts for the newborn Jesus in the Bible. Let us look if there are some wise men, and if so, what does this term mean? The original text says about the word magoi, and it is with every known Greek text, including Textus Receptus. Maybe the translation magoi was abandoned because of some cross-reference in time in history. Maybe the word wise men is sounding better, or maybe it is there to hide something. Let us read something more about them in the Gospel of Matthew. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. We know, therefore, that they were more than one. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. We see the number 3 there, but it is number of kinds of gifts, not a number of people offering those gifts. Let us read further. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. They went to their country. It was one country of theirs. They could not be the kings of the same country. That's absurd. Let us look if there are some passages in the Bible that says from where the Magoi or the wise men came. In the book of Acts we read, And when they had gone through the isle into Paphos, they found a certain sorcerer, a false prophet, a Jew, whose name was Bar-Jesus. But Elymas the sorcerer, the translation in my opinion is questionable. Why it is translated as it was? Why the same word magon is once translated as the wise man and now is changed to a sorcerer? Did the sorcerers visit Jesus? I can't agree with such a premise. If not, why is it the same word? The text gives us some information. The magos in here is the Jew, and this magos, male noun, because Greeks always added us to say someone is male, is somehow a male noun as to the title Elima. Elymos. What is Elima? It is the land in Persia called Elam. Not only in Persia, but in Media as well. It was the land to the east of Bethlehem. That would be accurate with the account of the Bible. It was a land adjacent to the Babylon that was in rivalry or a part of Babylon and Median tribes. The Wikipedia states, the 1st century Jewish writer Josephus reported that Daniel's body lay in a tower Ecbatana in Parthia, alongside the bodies of the kings of Medes and Persians. Later, Jewish authorities said he was buried in Susa. That was the land where the famous prophet lived and died, the prophet Daniel and Queen Esther. Around them would probably be a lot of Jews that wanted the protection from persecutions. Why that would be important? Daniel had written the messianic prophecy about the coming Messiah, so the people over whom he had control over might have knowledge about the future Messiah that we find in 70-week prophecy of Daniel. someone can argue that I interpret the Bible wrongly. How do we know that magoi, plural noun, and magon, the singular noun, is denoting some kind of group of people? We have confirmation of that fact in the most known ancient historian Herodot in his Histories. On the 47th page of his Histories, we read, "Thus Diogenes collected the Medes into a nation and ruled over them alone. Now, these nations are the tribes of which they consist: the Busae, Parataceni, the Struchates, the Arizanti, the Budi, and the Magi." Additionally, Herodot had written in Greek, and the New Testament was most likely written in Greek as well. And we know this is the same word, magoi. There are also passages in the Old Testament of who was the magoi, that they were one of the provinces of Babylon. In one of such a passage we read, "Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king." The term there is not a magoi. There is a term wise men. That in the language of Babylonian meant magoi. Some might say, hey, wait, you see? The wise men are not necessarily the magoi. Not so fast. We read in another fragment of the Old Testament that there is a commander or leader or some kind of magoi. "And all of the princes of the king of Babylon came in and sat in the middle gate, even Nergal-Sharezer, Samgar-Neba, Sarsechim, Rabsaris, Nergal-Sharezer, Rabmag, with all residues of princes of the king of Babylon." As we see, without any doubt, it is the same root of the word mag. Even the Wikipedia says that Magians were as well as the tribe of Medes, as well as the word wise men in the Babylonian language, and that Rab Mag means the commander of the Magians. Nobody would be so much desperate as to say that it is about a special commando force of battle mages, some wise guys, sorcerers, potion brewers, or the alchemists. It was most probably about the Magi as tribe over whom the military commander takes charge over, as we see similar situation with the tribes of Israel. What happened with that tribe? Were they important in the gospel? Did every one of them become a Jew? Firstly, in my opinion, the author of the gospel shows us the importance of prophecy of Daniel of the 70 weeks. Secondly, mentioning about the wise guys or sorcerers without any additional mention gives some dangerous backdoor for some Gnostic and esoteric lies and deceptions like some astrology and other things that is being fed to the public that the wise guys were up to. Those things that are being fed about the made up wise guys are condemned in the Bible. All that mystery, sorcery, magic and astrology and some mystical knowledge. Thirdly, the fact that Jews had came for the Jesus and bowed down to him and ignored the Herod and didn't fear him because of God's promises and commandments would be, I would imagine, not in line with both Catholic Church and the Jews, that would see the story as completely destroying their narrative. If the story about those Magian Jews would be known for public, every anti-Semitic hatred that works in the interest of both some of the Jews and the Catholic Church would be absolutely senseless in connection to the Christ or Christianity. First believers in Christ, if someone likes it or not, were the Jews, and some risked their lives for it, not to mention so many died for him. Thank you for watching and God bless.